Let's be honest, with all the fad diets and confusing advice out there, healthy eating can feel, well, really complicated. But what if it doesn't have to be? What if the basics are actually super simple? Today, we're going to cut through all that noise and get right to the 8 core principles of a truly balanced diet. Ready? Let's get into it. So, does this look familiar? If you've ever felt like you're trying to solve some impossible puzzle, you are definitely not alone. We're just bombarded with eat this, not that, all the time. But here's the good news. You don't need to be a scientist to eat well. The real secret isn't some crazy formula. It's actually one single, super important idea. And this is it. Energy balance. This is pretty much the master key to everything. Just think of your body like a set of scales. If you put in more energy, calories, than you use through your daily activities, your body stores that extra energy. If you use up more energy than you take in, you start to dip into those stores. It's a simple idea, right? But it's the absolute foundation for understanding how our diet affects our weight. Okay, so what does that look like in real numbers? Well, as a general rule of thumb, men need about 2,500 calories a day to maintain their weight, and women need around 2,000. Now, of course, these are just averages. Your age and how active you are can change things, but they give us a really great starting point for thinking about that energy balance we just talked about. So now that we have that big picture idea down, let's start building our perfect plate from the ground up. The biggest, most important part of our foundation? It's all about carbs, fruits, and veggies. This is where the bulk of our energy should be coming from. Now take a look at this. This might actually surprise you. That biggest chunk of the plate, just over a third of everything you eat, should be starchy carbohydrates. We're talking about things like potatoes, bread, rice, and pasta. They are literally the #1 fuel source for your body. But, and this is a big but, not all carbs are the same. Whenever you get the chance, you want to go for the whole grain versions, things like brown rice or potatoes with the skins left on. Why? Well, they've got way more fiber, which is great for digestion, and it also releases energy more slowly, so you feel full for longer. And let's just bust a huge myth right now. Carbs themselves are not fattening. Gram for gram, they have less than half the calories of fat. The real issue is usually what we put on them, like creamy sauces or loads of butter. All right, next up is a rule you've probably heard 1,000 times, and there's a good reason for it. Try to get at least 5 portions of different fruits and veggies every single day. They're just jam-packed with the vitamins, minerals, and fiber your body needs. And hitting that target is way easier than it sounds. It's all about making tiny, simple swaps. You could chop a banana on your cereal, maybe swap out your usual afternoon chips for a crunchy apple. Just one little thing to keep in mind. A small 150 milliliter glass of fruit juice or a smoothie does count as 1 portion, but only 1. Since they have a lot of sugar, it's better to stick to just 1 and get the rest of your portions from the whole fruit or vegetable. Okay, on to our next building block, protein and healthy fats. And while you can get these from a lot of places, fish is a real standout because it offers this amazing combo of nutrients that's hard to beat. The goal here is pretty straightforward. Aim for at least 2 portions of fish every week, and make sure one of those is an oily fish, like salmon or mackerel. The big reason for this is that oily fish are loaded with omega-3s. These are healthy fats that our bodies can't actually make on their own, and they are absolutely brilliant for keeping your heart healthy. So, we've covered all the good stuff to put on your plate. Now, let's talk about the things we need to keep an eye on. See, a balanced diet isn't just about eating more of the good stuff. It's also about being smart with our intake of saturated fat, sugar, and salt. Look, our bodies definitely need some fat, but too much of the saturated kind can raise your cholesterol and increase the risk of heart disease. So the recommended daily limit is about 30 grams for men and 20 grams for women. And a simple swap, like using a vegetable oil spread instead of butter, can really make a difference here. The best way to keep track of all this? You gotta become a food label detective. And this little chart here is your cheat sheet. When you look at that per 100 grams column on a label, if it says more than 22.5 grams of total sugars, that's high. For salt, anything over 1.5 grams is considered high. It's a super quick check that can be a real eye-opener, especially on foods you'd never expect. And speaking of salts, this number right here is the magic number for adults. The absolute maximum you should have in a day is just 6 grams. It doesn't sound like a lot, and, well, it isn't. To really put that into perspective, 6 grams is about 1 single teaspoon. And here's the crazy part. About 3/4 of the salt we eat doesn't even come from the salt shaker. It's already hidden in everyday foods like bread, soups, and sauces. And that's exactly why checking those labels is so important. Now, a balanced diet doesn't exist on an island all by itself. It works best when it's paired with other healthy habits. So let's quickly look at two other huge pieces of the puzzle: staying active and, you guessed it, staying hydrated. To keep your body running smoothly and to avoid getting dehydrated, the goal is to drink 6 to 8 glasses of fluid every day. And what counts? Well, the best choices are water, lower fat milk, and even sugar-free drinks like tea and coffee. They all help you hit that target. And while we're on the topic of good habits, let's bust another really common myth. A lot of people believe that skipping breakfast is some kind of secret hack for losing weight. But is that actually true? The answer is a clear and simple no. A healthy breakfast, one that's high in fiber and low in fat, sugar, and salt, is a key part of a balanced diet. It literally kickstarts your metabolism for the day and gives you those essential nutrients you need to get going. Even something as simple as a whole grain cereal with a bit of fruit on top is a perfect start. So as we wrap things up here, if there's one thing to take away, it's this. Getting healthy isn't about some massive, dramatic overnight change. It's about understanding these simple ideas and then just making small, smart choices, one after another. Swapping to brown pasta, adding one more veggie to your dinner. That's how you build real, lasting balance. So now, the final question is all yours. Looking back at everything we've talked about, which one of these tips feels like the easiest, most doable first step for you? Which one can you try this week? Just start there. Thanks so much for watching.